Okay, so hello and welcome everyone. I am Pranoy, and in today's video, I'm just going to show you a couple of ways through which you can visualize and analyze your MySQL data inside 5. So 5 actually offers you a couple of ways through which you can actually analyze and work around with the data. So let's just talk about a few of them in today's video. Okay, so what I have here is an application called as Portfolio V version 2.1, and if you want to follow along with me in today's video, what you can also download this app. So what you want to do is you want to go to our website at 5.co, and after you have navigated to our website, you want to go to our documentation by clicking on this link. After you're in the documentation, click on Get Started. After clicking Getting Started, hover over to this section and then click on Quick Start Guide. After you're in Quick Start Guide, click on Introduction and just scroll down to the bottom, and here you'll see that you will have a download link for this application. Okay, so going back to 5, let's just start managing our application. So what you want to do is you want to click on the app and then click on Manage button. Okay, so now you're inside the development environment of 5. So we have a bunch of menus on the top through which you have a bunch of features. You can use them to build your own application. So what we have here right now is an already made application called as Portfolio version 2.1, which contains some data. So what you want to do is you want to see what this app contains. So let's click on Data and then click on Database Modeler. And now you can see you have all of your tables and all of their fields in front of you, just like a UML diagram. So 5 actually models your database, and here you cannot just visualize your data, but you can also work with it. So let's say if you want to basically change some fields over here. So let's double click on that. So you get all of these details and you can change pretty much anything you want over here. Okay, let's say that you want to now add a table. So what you want to do is you want to click on Add Table over here. Start by naming your table. I can call it anything. For now, I'll just call it Dummy Table since I'll delete it soon. Click on Done, and bam, now you have a table in front of you. You can add fields to it by just clicking on the plus icon over here. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So if you click on the plus icon here, now you can basically add any fields. So I'll just call the first one name. We can say the data type as text, and it gives a default size to it. Just let's click on Done, expand it, and now you see that you've also added a field. So not only you can visualize your data here, but you can also work with it. So now we know that we have a allocation table, a buy table, portfolio, stock, sell, stock price, sector, and exchange table. Let's get rid of the table that we just made. Okay, so now since we have a rough idea what our data looks like, so let's just run our app and see that what we have on our end user application. Okay, so as you can see, we have 3 menus on the left hand side called as portfolios, exchanges, and sectors. And they already have some data in it. Let's say if we click on sectors, they would have a stock table. If you click on stocks, and then they would further have each prices for the stocks based on the dates. Similarly with exchanges, you get pretty much the same. You get stocks, you get each stocks, you can click any one and then look at their prices. Okay, a pretty simple application. So now let's talk about forms. So let's go to visuals, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on form. And as you can see from your end user application, we already have some bunch of forms inside 5. Making a form inside 5 is actually really easy. What you want to do is you want to click on New Form Wizard. And now select any table from here. We're going to select the stock table. After selecting just any table of your choice, what you're going to do is you want to click on Next and just verify what fields that you want over here. So after I verified everything, just click on Save and you should be done. Now I'm going to click on Save because I already have a stocks form. So I'm just going to click on Cancel. Okay, so let's run our application again. Okay, so what I want to show now is that 5 actually allows you to filter your data inside your forms, which will help you easily analyze your work. So let's click on Work Portfolio and let's drill down inside our portfolio. And now what we're going to do is we're going to click on Bias, and then you get a list of all of your stocks. Once you click on your stocks, you also get all of their details. But not only that, if you click on Filter button over here, which 5 actually gives you by default, now basically what you can do is you can filter your data over here. So let's say if you want a minimum quantity of 1,000, but a maximum quantity of 5,000. Let's click on save. And now it shows both of the stocks which have the minimum quantity of 1000 and the maximum can be only 5000. You can of course also use the search bar. Okay, so that was for forms. Another way how you can visualize data inside 5 is through an interface like this. So here you have your daily volume and you have a chart for that, which of course shows you the volume and the date. And on below of that, we have a report which shows the price date, the stock code, the name, and the volume. So let's see how we can build this interface and visualize our data in a similar way inside 5. So go ahead and open up 5. And now instead of clicking on forms, what we're going to do is you want to build a query. And now once you select query, you see your application already has a bunch of queries inside it. Now, what you want to do is you want to build a daily volume query, which basically calculates daily volume, which is coming into application. So let's quickly name it. We'll call it daily volume query. And then after you've done naming it, what you want to do is you want to double click over here. And then 5 opens up an SQL designer in front of you. You can also click over here on SQL and just write SQL like you want to. But for this video, we're going to cover up the designer because that's just a visual way how you can build your SQL queries. Okay, so for this query, what we want is we want our stock price table. And then we also want our stock table. Notice how you can see the relationships between the stock key. Okay, so for this query, we want the price date. So go ahead and double click on price date and it just jumps down on the bottom. We want the name, so double click on the name. Let's also now double click on the volume. So we have the price date, name, and the volume. Okay, let's also take the stock code. All right, so we have the price date, name, volume, and stock code. Of course, you can add modifiers here, you can add criterias, and you can basically do everything that you want with the SQL query in the designer. But I would like to keep things simple for the video. And let's click on save. Before clicking on save, what we can also do is we can click on run and we can see the results right over here. So as you can see, we have a working query which lists all of the dates, name, volume, and stock code. So after you're done, go ahead and click on save. After clicking on save, click on fields just to verify that you have all the fields. And one thing that you have noticed here, that price date has a display type of text. If you want, what you can do is you can change the display type to date as well. Okay. Now, once you're done building a query, now let's see how we can convert this query into a chart. So after you have built a query, what you do is you click on visuals and then click on chart wizard. So go ahead and we can name our chart in this one, in over here. So I'll just call it the daily volume chart. And then we have to pick a query. So you're going to pick the query that we just built, called as daily volume query. After you selected the query, select one of the fields for the X value column. So we just select the price date because we saw that the date was at the bottom. And for the Y value, we can select the volume. And as soon as I select volume, you can see that you instantly see all of the changes over here. So now you have a working chart. Over here, you can also select what kind of chart type do you want. From line, you have horizontal bar, but I'll just keep things simple again. I'll just keep a normal bar graph. We can give it a title over the x-axis or the y-axis, but let's just, what I want to do is right now just kind of give it a different color so it's more pleasing towards the eyes. So let's just give it some sort of a green color because it goes with our theme. So after you're done, click on save. And now the chart was asking me to give it a title. So as you can see, this area is empty. So we're just going to give it an appropriate title. I just call it the daily volume chart. And then I can toggle if I want to display the title or not. I'll just display the title for this one. You can name it anything you want. So if we're done with the chart, so go ahead and click on save. So after you're done building your chart, what we want to do now is we want to put that into our end user application. So that can be done by clicking on visuals and then clicking on menus. Here, you want to create a new menu item. You can call it anything you want. I'll just call it the daily volume. A menu order of 9 so that it appears last in the list, and give it the action for either one of these, such as chart, and then click on save. Click on run, and now let's see how it affects our end user application. Now you can see on the left hand side we have portfolio, exchange and sectors, but now we have a new menu item called as daily volume. So once you click on it, you can see that your chart is right in front of you. But let's say that we want to build something a little more complicated. We want to have a different layout, something similar to the one we saw over here, where we have a chart and on the bottom we have a report. So what you can do is, instead of just creating a menu item, we can make dashboards out of these. So go back to 5. In order to make a dashboard, what you want to do is click on visuals and then click on dashboards. Here you want to add a new dashboard. I can call it the daily volume dashboard this time. So dashboards work like a grid. So let's say if you have had 2 columns and 2 rows, so then you can place 4 items into this dashboard. So one item can be on the top left, another one can be on the top right, and similarly another item can be on the bottom left and bottom right. For this particular dashboard, we only want 2 items, one on the top, which is a chart, and then one on the bottom, which is the report. Let's look at the dashboard again. So as you can see, the chart is on the top and the dashboard and the report is on the bottom. So we can only have 1 column but 2 rows for this one. After done with the dashboard, click on actions, and let's add our first action by clicking on the plus icon over here. Click on page position and then select the position of the first item, which is going to be on the top. So let's select A1. And from the action, you want to select the chart that we just built. So click on daily volume chart and then click on save. After done with that, let's add another action. Set the page position as A2. And for this, for the report, what you just want to do is you just want to select the query that we just built. So the daily volume query. Click on save and then save again. After you're done with the dashboard, what you want to do is you want to click on visuals and then menus. Here, select daily volume, click on edit, and now in the action, you want to select your daily volume dashboard so that you can actually see your dashboard in your end user application. Click on save, and then let's finally click on run. So as you can see, we still have our daily volume menu item. Now let's see how different it looks. As you can see, it's pretty much similar to the dashboard that we had on our diagram. So there's a chart over here, and on the bottom you can see there's a report, which we can scroll and look at individual details. Okay, so one final thing that I would like to talk about in this video is that a lot of times people have asked me if 5 can create an interface similar to Excel. So basically, if we can put our data into an editable grid. So yes, the answer is we can do that inside 5. So let's see how we can do that. So let's go, for example, let's click on visuals and then forms. And let's click on our sectors table. Inside sectors table, if you click on pages, you would have noticed that we have an extra page inside this form, which if you click on it, you will see this page refers to our stocks form. And you can see that our page type is a list over here. So if you click on the drill down here and select on grid, and then again on action, what you want to do is you want to click on our stocks form. So now we are telling 5 that you want to display our stocks form, but in a grid-like interface. So let's click on save and save again. Let's run our application. And now let's see what changes that I bring into our application. So let's click on a sectors form, click on any single sector, let's say financials. And now when you click on stocks, you see you have something similar to what you had earlier, but instead everything can be edited right over here, including the stocks, the names, and everything else. So yes, something very similar to Excel, where instead of drilling down, you can edit your data right over here, which also includes drill downs, right editing, and of course, you can still filter whatever you want. Okay, so that was it for today's video. We quickly covered a few ways how you can analyze and visualize your MySQL data inside 5. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe for our future videos. Until then, see you everyone, and thank you.